because out of that grew an amazing amount of crashing into the gates of hell.
Yeah, that's right.
Hasn't it?
Yeah.
All over the world. And God did the preparation in that time. So I am just thrilled to be able to celebrate with you and to have been a part at that time that God appointed and ordained and orchestrated in our lives. It's just so good to see you all and to just renew friendships and renew what has occurred since then, and to just rejoice in God because of what He has done.
Amen.
Amen. I'm glad I had her speak. Our time with JSBC began when Dr. Gray gave me a call. We had been a long-term pastor in the church and felt God was leading us to move on. We had no particular reason except we just felt it was time. So in July of '83 was our last time for this long-term pastor. We had no idea where we were going. Just knew it was time. You know, when those steps of faith you make, and some of you know what I'm talking about exactly. And you make those steps and you wonder what God is saying to you. So we didn't know what we were going to do for 8 months without salary, okay? And it's amazing though, it's amazing what God can do in your quiet times. You can spend 3 hours in one psalm, where normally I had to be prepared for 7 times of engagement in the church in a week. In a full week, I had to be prepared 7 times. And now I have 3 hours for one psalm. Unheard of. But in the process of it all, God is preparing me for the call in April of May '84. But in the fall of that year, the previous year, Brother Swaggart had a crusade in Oakland, which is about an hour, not quite an hour from where we lived, where we pastored. We pastored in Marin County, which is about 20 miles north of San Francisco. That was a hippie time. It really was hippie. I mean hippie. But he had a crusade there in Oakland, and so in the crusade, he invited the pastor to come and stand in front of him. So which we all did. And I ended up, not by my choice, it ended up, I tried to get away from those, but I ended up standing right next to him. I felt awkward, right? Well, we had some ladies from the church, some dear saint of God. She was sitting in the balcony, and she told me later, she said, Pastor, you're going to work with Brother Swaggart. This was in, I think, November of the year before. That's before this thing ever came into being. And I said, oh, sure. Okay, bless you, you'll thank the Lord. You kind of nod your head to the pastor, you'll be very gracious of it. And who knew that she had a prophetic word and didn't know it? She didn't come, thus saith the Lord, prophetic word. And I got the call from Dr. Gray. And he called, and we went to visit him, of course, and saw Dr. Gray, Brother Swaggart, and we had this meeting. And we're here today because of Dr. Gray and Donna. They paid a price too.
Yes.
That's right.
More than many of you will know.
Yes.
That's right.
But they paid it. We thank you.
Yes.
So we came, and there was Stan Drew was here, and then Dr. Journey was here, and the primary purpose of the college at that time, and still was while we were there, was the primary purpose was to train men and women for ministry. No other specific call, but that was the primary call, to train men and women for the ministry. They wanted to bring discipling of disciples. They wanted to disciple men and women for the ministry and for worldwide missions, because Brother Swaggart, of course, was worldwide. So that was his idea. And so we owe a real debt of gratitude to Brother Swaggart. And we may be talking about that a little later, maybe not. But we do owe a deep gratitude for him. He heard the voice. He responded to the voice, and you are here today because of that. Amen. He had a passionate desire to see see God do something unique in Bible college. He looked at our Bible colleges and said, okay, but I think there's something more. And God wanted to do, and He did. He did something very unique. And you are here today as a testimony of that uniqueness that God called. Let's go back and just briefly talk about some experiences we had. Who can forget the powerful ministry of Brother Swagger himself in chapels? They were anointed.
Right.
How many times we came to the altar repenting, rejoicing, all of the above, huh? And how about Morris? We have missionaries like Morris Kloss, that tall and elegant man from Africa. He was, I think, what was 6, 7 feet, I don't know. But he was thrilled to have him come and share in a quiet way the mission and the vision of missions. Willard Cantillon, a Christian statesman. Other missionaries like Wesley Hurst, the Far East director of the Assemblies of God. The passionate heart of David Grant from India. Can you remember him? I can. Serving in India. Sobi Malik, who's been serving in Muslims for over 30 years. Even today, he lives in almost the same city we do. He's been producing Sharif Bibles, sending literally thousands around the world. Thousands. Who can we forget him? Wayne Turnbull, the missionary to Mexico. David Godwin, the missionary to Spain. Wayne Turnbull, missionary to Mexico. David Godwin, missionary to Spain, I'm sorry. Ray Trask, missionary to former missionary to Indonesia. And how about Bob Hoskins from the Book of Hope? That tall man too. Right? Then there was Dr. Charles Greenaway. Preached over 50 years, a missionary and an evangelist, whatever you want to call him. He was a statesman. I mean, he parked that old Cadillac any way he wanted to. The signs made no difference to him. I mean, he just closer to the door. But you may not look like much, but you're going to make it.
I'll never forget that.
I think everybody probably got an A in his class, but whatever it was. But they caught a spirit far beyond the classroom.
Amen.
It's still remembered for us 25 years later. Then there was revivalists. They were the revivalists. David Wilkerson, deeply moved by his messages of challenging us to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. And then Leonard Reuben.
Oh, man.
What can you say about him?
Wow.
Gary Hall. What about Dr. C.M. Ward from Bethany Bible College? The great teacher, preacher of the gospel, had radio over 600 radio stations in America at the time.